My politic is not conditional to whatever my favorite artist, like BTS, says. I will hold my views regardless and separate from my faith because my politic is not a product to be influenced by any celebrity influencers, even popular artists.
Let them eat cake.
Who took the bomb?
A Reddit user wrote, pop stars are too out of touch to be politically educated. They're too rich for any of this stuff to affect them. They live in a safe bubble wrapped world. And I'm here to ask, are they really out of touch? And for those advocating for their faith to speak up, what type of politic do you wish for your faith to express? Because unbeknownst to you, they might already be expressing their politic loudly.
Put it up there. What? I got you. Four. I got you, Glenn. Oh, the moon. You guys, I have to tell you, look at the moon.
Part 1. The revolution will be televised. During the 2025 Super Bowl, Kendrick Lamar rapped that the revolution was about to be televised.
The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
This phrase was a reference to Gil Scott Heron 1971 poem, The Revolution Will Not Be Televised. On the poem, Scott Heron says, the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions.
The revolution will not be televised. The revolution with interruptions.
The poet recognized that popular culture led by corporations interested in selling American their products with the sole purpose of enriching their pockets would never willingly choose to televise a grassroots political revolution against itself. Scott Heron continued, the revolution will not be better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun. Brothers, the revolution will be live.
The revolution will be live.
The poet understood that a revolution is a counter movement to a hegemonic popular culture and the status quo. And why would the status quo willingly platform and allow its greatest tool of propaganda, the television at the time, to broadcast a movement against itself? So, when Kendrick Lamar sang that the revolution will be televised on the 2025 Super Bowl, he was announcing that he had infiltrated the hegemonic pop culture in order for him to deliver to us that revolution. He was taking space in a hegemonic status quo, and because he was there, he would show the public the revolution. Whether or not that message is congruent with him being in a space where a single ad during the Super Bowl costs over $8 million, that will go straight to the pockets of the TV networks invested in the oppression of its viewers, is a conversation for another video. The question that I wish to explore is, should popular artists like Kendrick Lamar speak up and be political in the way that he or Beyoncé were during their Super Bowl performances? Should you demand the same of BTS, of Olivia Rodrigo, of Taylor Swift, of Lorde, etc.? Would doing what Kendrick did be effective at all?
There's no heaven. It's easy if you...
Part 2. What type of politic? When we talk about a celebrity being political, when the public urges them to speak up, like many have since the tragic acceleration of the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinian people that intensified after October 7th, there is an assumption that the public usually makes, that to be political, one needs to be against the status quo. The assumption being that to be political is to be revolutionary. But I am here to tell you that being political in the context of art can mean to be pro the status quo, against revolutionary ideas, or simply indifferent to them, because the status quo might benefit some in some way. And those types of artworks are not generally regarded as political by the simple fact that they're not disruptive nor revolutionary, but they should be regarded as political since they're being presented in a political context. In the first video of my series about the tradition of scorned women in Latin music, I talked about the role artists played during the Spanish Franco dictatorship. Artists who did not conform to the nationalist, conservative Catholic values were persecuted. Artists who were queer, socialists had to live in exile or face execution by the regime. Such was the case of the exceptional Spanish poet Garcia Lorca, whose life was ended by the regime through a firing squad. What was the reason for such punishment? That he was queer. However, art did thrive during the regime. Artists who explicitly showed support to the Francoist project or whose identity exacted the traditional values were accepted and propped up by the dictatorship. For example, Dali. Yes, I am here to tell you that your beloved surrealist painter, Salvador Dali, was a fascist. He was a disgusting necro and a literal scatological fascist. Dali is an artist that the dictator himself, Francisco Franco, called the greatest hero of Spain. I know what you might be thinking. We don't think of Dali as a political artist. You know him as the kooky artist at the helm of the surrealist movement, a movement very much linked to left-wing political ideologies, a movement to which the executed poet Garcia Lorca also contributed with his literary work. And I'm really sorry that I'm breaking your bubble. I really am. It is hard to look at your idols and realize they might have been a horrible person. But honestly, Mami, by now you should expect that the shiny legacy of famous artists will, statistically speaking, face their demise. Dali had explicit political views in support for fascism and in support for fellow mustache wearer Hitler. But his inclinations did not just stay hidden in the private space. He did produce political art, but because it was not against the status quo of the Franco regime, because he was pro-fascism and admired that other mustache guy, we do not think of him as a political artist. And even though surrealists at the time explicitly expelled him from their circles, we still regard him as the helm of the surrealist art movement because the general public is not so readily acquainted with his political views. But in fact, Dali did produce fascist art, period, point blank. But because of the reasons mentioned, that inconvenient fact is never linked to the description of the art itself. Instead, his paintings are still hung in the halls of liberal arts institutions, and we still consume popular cultural references to Dali in a positive way. His legacy has been that his art was shocking and thought provoking, but never has it been that his art was political. His art was not disruptive to the Franco regime. It molded itself comfortably in the contrived, hostile environment of fascism, and it thrived in it. And even if you did not know the political context behind Dali's work, his art was political. All artworks are produced in political contexts, but some might be indifferent to its political context, or they tacitly exalted the ideas of their times by propping up the hegemonic doctrine of its time. Other artworks are explicitly revolutionary and against the hegemonic views of their time. So, when I ask what type of politic do you wish that your favorite artists express and speak out about, the question is not facetious, because the artists that you want to speak out might already be doing so by comporting with the current spirit of our times. When that Redditor said pop stars are too out of touch to be politically educated for any of this stuff to affect them, what they really mean is that they're too adapted to the status quo for them to even consider revolutionary art that challenges the current zeitgeist.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do.
Part 3. The revolution is not demanded, it's forged. If you are one of the 10 people who watched my Chapel Roan video, you will know that I defended her from what I believe are bad faith interpretation of her words. I do believe we hold celebrities and pop artists to impossible standards. Moreover, I do not agree with you that pop artists are obligated to speak up. By this statement, what I mean to say is that I will not waste my limited time that I'm able to dedicate to the expression of my politic to demand that whatever artists you want, like Beyonce, Dua Lipa, one of my faves, BTS, practice my same politic. My praxis is mine. My praxis and my politic is not conditional to whatever my favorite artist, like BTS, says. I will hold my views regardless and separate from my faith because my politic is not a product to be influenced by any celebrity influencers, even popular artists. My politic comes from a deep understanding in philosophical issues, in interacting with my social reality. My politic comes from reading and interacting and is a deeply personal and communal work that is not up for sale. And what is up for sale? The influence that my favorite pop artist has. Behind the argument for artists to speak up is that they need to leverage their platform. And hidden in that premise of the argument is that the political practice of the masses should be influenced by whatever popular artist or consumer product is popular at the time. The implicit premise is that us, as, and for a lack of a better word, us as the proletariat, that we need to be guided by the enlightened bourgeoisie class of pop artists. This argument misses that even though we love our artists, at the end of the day, the way they survive and make money is by being a more artistic influencer. Moreover, this argument displaces the duty of the working class and marginalized folk to defend themselves. The argument views us as objects lacking autonomy, not as subjects who are capable of rebelling. This argument views us as objects that needs a different subject, a bourgeoisie subject of the high political class, to imprint on us in order for us to start our political movement. It is an argument that strips us from the power of our collectiveness to interfere in our own revolutions. I do not believe that getting educated on the history of international collective labor movements or revolutionary movements or emancipatory movements should come to us by the influencer economy. When people use these arguments, they are demanding that these artists exercise the same transactional exchange of their influencer status in an economical reality that is precisely harming us and is precisely the one that we should be rebelling against. When someone uses this argument for artists to speak up, you are hoping that we establish a vertical relationship between the fans and the artists, one where the artist is on top and the fans or the collectiveness or the masses are below them, are subjugated to them. The people using this argument view the artist as the Lord and Savior to the masses who are their fans. And it subjects the fans to be treated as subjects lacking of autonomy lacking of the power of political emancipation. You are demanding artists to influence us politically into joining part of a collectivist, revolutionary, or emancipatory movement in the same way that they use their influencer status to incite us to buy the next product that will help them become billionaires. When we demand artists to speak up because of their influence, we are turning an emancipatory movement and inserting it into an economical reality that is already harming us and is making the world go round and round. Spending our precious time directing our ire to those artists is to waste our time on the wrong people. They're not the president of the United States. They are not the despicable Netanyahu. They're not the prime minister of England. And even white American artists who are much more closer to the power that American imperialism is exercising on all of us, much more closer than BTS will ever be, they are still not the ones pressing the button for the next drone strike. They're not the International Court of Justice. They are not in the UN. Our ire should be directed to those other people. It should be a movement of your peers, not a movement that you demand of an artist of a different class that is not near you. Our ire should be against the Bezos and the mosques. That's where our ire and our organizing should be spent. Demanding anything other from any other person that is not those people is a waste of collective movement. Like Jill Scott Heron said, the revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised. And in today's age, that means that the revolution will not be influenced by your favorite popular artist, influencer that sits behind a camera using Instagram or TikTok. The revolution will not be influenced by influencer economy. The revolution will not happen through TikTok or Twitter. The revolution will only happen when all of us collectively are in the driver's seat. And it will be led by you and by me and our collective organizing for the emancipation of a broader generation.
Revolution will put you in the driver's seat.
I feel that this will be a controversial take. I feel that the idea that influencers should be using their platform is very widely accepted. And I resent that idea not because I want to protect the artists, but rather because the argument for that misplaces what revolutionary movement should be. Now, that does not discount that there are artists currently and in the past who have been political. Let me know what you think of this video. Please write a comment if you like it. Please like, please subscribe. You don't know how much a subscription means to me. And let me know if you disagree with me. Let me know why. Just please be respectful. So until next time, remember to be excellent to one another. Bye.